Hey guys, what's up? Retro Mikey 78 here today, and today I'm going to a response video. I released my OG Xbox, I released my 360 collection of what I currently have, and somebody asked about my NES and my SNES collection. Now, what a lot of you guys don't realize is at one point I had over 300 of NES, and I had over probably 200 right around 200 SNES. And I recently just decided that I think it was back in January, February. I'd say maybe, I think I recently decided back in January, February that I was going to get rid of a shit ton of my NES and SNES. I don't play this system as much as I would like, and I've got them all emulated on my PS1 Classic, which I do play that emulation quite a bit. But I did keep a lot of what I liked, and just some that were just different stuff. I kept things that had manuals, I kept light gun games, and I kept a variety of games. Will I go back and collect again? I might. And a lot of it had to do is I needed money at the time. I was wanting to buy things and didn't have cash to spend, so I was willing to trade off these two systems that I don't play enough. Trade off some of the games. I was like, okay, let's just get rid of this stuff so I can, get what I want. Will I go back and collect them again? Probably in the future, but maybe not until we get a new game room. So let's go through and talk about the games that I kept and why I guess I decided to keep them. All right, first off the bat, great shooter, 1942 and 1943. I just like playing through these games. They're fun. Emulation's not as great on these. Plus, a lot of problems, I have with my left hand, the way it's deformed. I play the NES a lot with the NES Advantage. So using the turbo button on these with the NES Advantage is a lot of the reason I kept those. It's just part of the way I play them. But yeah, 1942 and 43, I did keep those. One of my games, I played a lot as a kid. Me and my friends loved playing it, and that was Arch Rivals. This game was a blast to play. It's just a copy I picked up around. Love that game. Now this is a game I had in my childhood, and I love this game. I think this game is a blast. It's part shooter, part platformer. Air Fortress. You start out each level going through a sideways scrolling shooter to get to the fortress. Then you have to get in the fortress and disarm the bomb in each fortress through the maze before it blows up. This is an awesome game. Now, I try to keep every game. I'm not real big on boxes anymore for these old school games. If I went through a collection, I would not go for a complete in box. But if I had a manual with it, I tried to keep any game I had a manual with. So I had Batman, which is actually an awesome beat 'em up. So I kept this one. I kept any light gun game I got, and this is Barker Bill's Trick Shooting. I love playing the light gun games. Even though they're in the game room, I had to play this in my bedroom where my CRT TV is, because I don't have room for the CRT in this room. So I can't wait for us to move out of this apartment and get a house, because I want a bigger game room. Game I had as a kid, I love this game, Bionic Commando. Me and a buddy used to play through this game like crazy. Bionic Commando is a great game. One I've not really dove much into, and I kept it because it looks fun, and that's A Boy and His Blob. I really need to dig into this game. I kept it so I could play into it. Just one I decided to keep. Bubble Bobble, kept it, tried it out, thought this game was pretty fun. So yeah, I really want to go through this game. Oh, Burger Time, folks. This is a fun game. It's the only reason I kept it. It's fun. I've got it emulated on a PS1 Classic, and I got another system it's emulated on. So, yeah. Captain Skyhawk had a manual, so I think that's the main reason I kept it. I've not actually tried the game. I need to. Like I said, I do not play my NES that much. I don't know why. And this was the system. I think even though there's a lot of nostalgia for this system, this is the system that I had from the time I was like 6 or 7 till I was almost 18. My parents always said they weren't buying another system. So I had this system forever. Going back to it, I don't find the games as fun. I don't know why, but I have nostalgia for it, but I don't tend to play them as much as I would think I would. We have the original Castlevania. We have a copy of Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. It's a little beat up, has the manual. This was in one of my first purchases when I started recollecting these things. Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Actually, the strange thing was I had all 3 of these Castlevanias when I went to MoGameCon Junior for sale because I was a vendor. I sold this one, but didn't sell the other 2. Then I was like, well, I'm not going to break up the set. So I bought this cheaper than what I sold it for. So, great deal. I actually made money on that. Contra. What's I going to say? I never really owned this as a kid. I owned it later as an adult. But I used to play this in the arcade at the bowling alley. Contra is a great game. And it's one of my favorites. It's one I keep it. Next up, we have Double Dragon 2, and the only one I owned as a kid, and the one that I actually liked the best, Double Dragon 3. Double Dragon 3, the reason I like it the best, I think it's more nostalgic, and it's the one that I played through all the time as a kid, because I never owned these 2. I had played these in the arcade, but this is the one that somebody bought me, or I think I had a family member that lent it to me, and then they broke up with their boyfriend or whatever, and I ended up just keeping it. So that's I think it's a great game. I've never been able to beat the final boss, though. That's what pisses me off. Friday the 13th, great LGN game. It's one of the only LGN games that I really do like. So yeah, I kept Friday the 13th. One of my all-time favorite classic games, Galaga. Oh, I love Galaga so much. It is so fun to play Galaga. This is not the port that I have took and rolled over. That was on the 7800. But this Galaga is still fun. Still love playing it. I could put this in and play it for hours. This is one of the games that I never get bored with. Gauntlet and Gauntlet 2. Loved playing Gauntlet back as a kid. That's why I kept them. Have a lot of nostalgia for them. So, love my Gauntlets. Just not a game that, you know, it's hard to play one player. It's funner to play it multiplayer. Here we have Ghosts and Goblins. This game is wicked hard. It's not a game that I'm going to beat. I don't have the reaction time that I had as a kid. I can tell you that now because I'm just not there. Gotcha. Light gun game with the manual. So, and you guys can tell, these are in alphabetical order. My entire collection, except for stuff in my little cabinet that I hide away, is all in alphabetical order. Gradius, great shooter. Not very good at it. I need to go through and practice more. But Gradius. Gunsmoke, another great game. Gyrus, I think it's a shooter. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what it's about, but I remember there was a reason I kept it. Oh, I know Heavy Barrel. That is a fun game. Heavy Barrel, it's just a game I like playing, digging into. Hogan's Alley, one of my favorite light gun games. Really don't like playing where you do the cop training. What I honestly love doing is the trick as the can where you shoot the cans on the platforms. I love playing that on old school. The first Ikaria Warriors. Just love playing through this game. It's just a blast playing. This is a game I actually have on the 7800, and I used to play it a lot on that, and I also love playing it on this. And that's Jordan versus Bird one-on-one. It was just a fun game. I know it's corny the way it looks, but it's a fun game. King's Quest V. I have played through this on this before, but I love the King's Quest series back in the late 80s, early 90s, even into the 2000s. So I kept this at a sentimental value. If I was going to play that, I'd probably play my version on the PC. Kirby's Adventure. Fun game. I haven't went through the whole game, but it is fun. Krusty's Funhouse. Basically, I kept all the Simpsons games because when I looked at my emulators, what I had on there, none of the Simpsons games were on the emulators. So I kept those just in case I wanted to play them. I went through every game and was like, okay, this is on there, this isn't. The original Legend of Zelda. Awesome game. I have went through it once when I was a kid. No, I think I went through this as an adult because I never owned this as a kid. My parents did not buy this. But I went through it probably sometime after high school. I had 2 copies of Metroid. I kept one of the 2. I kept the yellow label. I think it looks better than the original one. Here's a game, folks. I love playing through this game, but I cannot beat Tyson. I don't know what it is. I do not have the reflexes for it. But Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, here you go. I usually can make it undefeated all the way to Soda Pop. I've made it past him a couple times. The Second Ball Bull, Don Flamingo. But once I get up around there, I start losing because I don't have the reaction time. That's a lot of this. I'll admit it, I'm not as good at these games as I am at some others. The original Metal Gear. It's an awesome game. I remember watching a buddy of mine growing up playing through it. I never have. Ninja Gaiden. I did own this as a kid. I have a lot of nostalgia for this game, and I have yet to ever beat it. Ninja Gaiden 2. I dabbled in this, but I've not played this nearly as much as I played Ninja Gaiden. Operation Wolf, pretty good shooter. Operation Wolf, pretty good game. Got the manual for it. That might be the reason I kept it. What we got here? Bart versus the World. Told you that these were not emulated, so I had Bart versus the Space Mutants. Those, they're there just to have them there. Here's Snake's Revenge. The sequel to Metal Gear on there. And here's a game, Star Force. I had this as a kid. I remember getting this for Easter once when I was a kid. And this is a fun shooter. It was a surprise hit. So yeah, Star Force. Here's another game I had as a kid. I remember I saved up my money for my birthday and I went to a Kmart and bought this as a kid. This was the only Contra game that I owned as a kid, and that's Super C. And I know I can't do it today, but at one point I do remember going through a no-death run of this when I was a kid. I need to get this back out and try to go through and get my skills back up. This would be the perfect game for me to do that on. I love playing through this game as a kid. I remember a buddy of mine, he was like, hey man, let's enter the code in. I said, I don't need the code. You can borrow my lives. He goes, yeah, that's right. You never do die on this. So I used to play this game to death. I prefer this over Contra any day. Super Glove Ball. I basically kept it, I think, because it had a manual. This is what I would like to have, is games like that. This, I have a lot of nostalgia memory for this. Me and a bunch of friends played this, and that's Super Off-Road with a manual. Great game. Anybody wants, wants a great game to play, and it's fun to play with friends, super off-road. It is 4-player. I've got a NES satellite up there, but nobody ever comes over, so we don't play. I kept all these versions. I have Mario Brothers. I have Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. I have the triple pack Mario Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet, even though I don't have a power pad. Mario 2. Mario 3 with a manual. So we have Turtles Arcade with a manual, and I think it's still got the Pizza Hut coupon on the manual. We have Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project. And then we have the last stack before we get into the complete games. We have a copy of Wario Woods with the manual, but it has a messed up sticker on it. But still, great game. We have Wild Gunman, folks. Great light gun game. This is fun to play. Still, don't have a power pad, but I kept a copy of World Class Track Meet. The game's not worth much. And if I ever did decide to go for a complete NES collection, I probably wouldn't get stadium events. It's not worth the money that people are offering for it. It's the same game as this. What's the point? I'm just not into it. Xevious is a great top-down shooter. I love playing this game in the arcade. It's one of my favorite arcade games I ever played. Remember this being in the bowling alley. Like you guys always hear me say bowling alley. That's where I played all my arcades because we did not have an arcade anywhere else. And it would always have one pinball machine and 1, 2, 3, 4 arcades. They would switch up everything every once in a while, but that's all they ever had. But I played the shit out of this while it was there. Yo-Noid. I love this game, one, because my dad used to crack up and laugh at the Domino commercials. He actually loved the Noid, so that reminds me of that. But I also think this platformer ain't that bad. I think it's a fun platformer. I know a lot of people give it hate, but it was fun. Got the Yoshi puzzle game. This is a fun puzzle game. I get pretty far in it, but nobody I know wants to play. Next up, we have Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I've played this game a little bit here and there, and I'm not very good at it. It's a really nice, shiny copy, but it's just not set there in my collection. The last one in my collection is a Super Mario Bros. Remix. It's a 45-in-1 ROM hack. I don't remember the exact listing of all the games that are on here, but I paid $25 for this off eBay, and all the games that I have tried work flawlessly. So it's just a ROM hack. I was watching JLove81 play, and April was like, hey, I want to try that one. I want to try that one. I want to try that. So instead of me buying this one or this separate one, we found this, and she's like, yeah, pick that up. So we've done that. We've not done much with it, but we have got it. All right, guys, we have about 4, 5, 6, 7 complete in box games, and there's not much here. So we have Snake Rattle and Roll. This is a fun game. I think I picked this up at Game Trader 2, so it's a real fun game. I did not pay much for it. I think I picked it up when they were closing the store. Ice Hockey. I remember playing this game with a buddy of mine, a family friend. He's about 6 years younger than me. But I always liked it when you got into fights in this. I know it's not as good as Blades of Steel, but I picked this up on a sale day at Half Price Books. Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. Sounds like I don't have the styrofoam in there, but it is complete. I picked this up because I'm a huge Bill Elliott fan from the early days of NASCAR. And I just wanted this on the shelf because of Bill Elliott. The game itself, I think, sucks. And I know you guys seen Turtles 1, Turtles 2. You guys know how much I love Turtles. I have the original complete in box right here. And this is a nice piece. I do love that one. Now, these next two are probably some of my favorite games on the NES, and that is one, Super Dodgeball. This game is fun. I don't care what mood I'm in. I can put this game in and I can play the shit out of it. I can go through on hard, all the way through the campaign, play beanball. It doesn't matter what I do. Me and a buddy used to play 2-player on this for hours and hours on it. It's a game, none of my friends loved this game growing up, but I loved it and thought this game was so much fun. Marble Madness. It does not take long to go through and beat this game. I remember I have beaten it before. Can I do it now? I've tried recently. No. But this game here is fun. And here you go. This is a game me and April love to play together. It is autographed by the creator of the game, Billy Cohen. And we have... Next, the last game I got here is Rampage. And this is autographed by Brian Colin. And it is an awesome game. Me and April just love playing it. I have went through this game, single player, 2-player. You get infinite continues, so I mean, you can go through this game easily. But Rampage, sweet game. Never get tired of playing a Rampage game. So, and there's my NES collection. I'll look it up and make sure I put it in the video somewhere. Don't remember the exact name of the subscriber that asked for this. And you are going to get a SNES collection. I'll be doing that here next. Don't know when these videos will be getting released because I have a backlog of videos I have been making, getting prepared to go back to work so that I still have content to bring to you guys. Thanks for watching Retro Mikey 78, and we'll be back soon.